because whether you like them, woo, or you don't, they are the best thing, woo, in the football world today. Woo!
Welcome back to Booty Picks, everybody. The show where all the picks are asked. I'm Champ Brantley, and I'm joined today by my good buddy Mac Murphy. How you doing, Bronk?
Pretty good, champ. We're in the dog days of the picks, so it's a sad time, but it's also the time of year where your pocketbook can recover and you can build up that savings, or look forward to building up the savings for next year to lose all that money. So it's some give and take there.
Yeah, and it's Thanksgiving week, so I mean, what could be bad? This is a fun week because it's just tons of games. We can't even cover them all today, but there's just tons of games over the whole entire week. We're gonna have ones during Thanksgiving Day. We're gonna have ones during Friday, like all fucking days. So it's gonna be awesome. Well, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, well, let's just.
Yeah, there's so much football we can't even think straight.
Yeah, I know. I'm up to my eyeballs in football. All right, let's just start then. We'll start on Thanksgiving. We have, let's see, got the sheet here. We have the Mississippi State Bulldogs at the Ole Miss Rebels, who are giving 2.5. The over/under is 59. This is the Egg Bowl. It's at 7 p.m. on ESPN. I mean, this one, there's a lot of fucking storylines going into this game. Rumors, hearsay, trolling, the whole thing. What do you think about this one, Mac?
Yeah, I don't have a good read on this because Ole Miss did not have a good week last week.
They had probably the worst week in the Lane Kiffin era by far, I would say.
And then we all know the rumors of Lane Kiffin possibly going to Auburn. So this team, I think Ole Miss is not going to be focused, but that everybody seems to be jumping on Mississippi State plus 2.5.
Yeah.
I don't like that because I still think Ole Miss is a much better football team.
You think they're much better?
I do. I do. I mean, they gave Alabama everything they can handle, and this is a team that Alabama beat the shit out of Mississippi State, didn't they? I think they did.
I don't remember.
I'm pulling up their schedule. Let's see. Yeah, Alabama beat them 30-6. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I think even though both of these teams will score points, even though that there's rumors out there, so I think your safe bet is just bet over 59 and root for some fun football.
Yeah, I think that's a fun pick. Yeah, I mean, 59 is not bad. I think that's a pretty low over, especially for two guys that are definitely offensive guys. So I'm gonna roll with you. I'm gonna come in your hole just right off the bat. Not wasting any time here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with over 59.
There we go.
Hell yeah!
You better
All right.
up. This hole might get filled real quick.
Yeah, I anticipate it's going to get a lot of action. All right, next game. This one's on Friday at noon. We have number 21 Tulane Green Wave headed to the number 25 Cincinnati Bearcats, who are giving 2 points. The over/under on this one is 46.5. This one has implications for the conference championship, right?
I think so, and I think the winner will go. I'm not sure the division split, or there might be a rematch the next week. I'm not up to date in the American Athletic Conference, so I apologize. But this is another one. Cincinnati has a good defense. Tulane has a good offense, so something's got to give. And I look at the 46 and a half.
This is the Fun Belt, right?
No, American.
American. Okay.
Yeah.
I get all three of those conferences mixed up.
Because they
Conference.
all were in it at one time. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yeah, I like. What happened to my voice there? I like the over 46 and a half in this one. I think Tulane has a pretty good offense, and I think I think 46 and a half is low, even though Cincinnati has a really good defense. But yeah, I think you'll see some points scored.
I kind of like the Green Wave. I haven't really watched either of these teams play, so this is pretty much blind pick for me. But Tulane, who did they beat? They beat somebody during a weeknight. I forget who it was. And it surprised the hell out of me. I think it was like
Kansas State.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Was it actually them?
Yeah, they beat Kansas State. I don't know if it was a weeknight game, but
Wait, Tulane did?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, well, based on that and that alone, I didn't even know who it was, so don't trust me. But yeah, I'm gonna go Tulane to cover the 2 and maybe win the game. Yeah. Moving on. Let's see. I took Tulane.
I got over 46 and a half.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next on the slate is the Baylor Bears going to the Texas Longhorns in DKR. Texas giving 8.5. The over/under of 56 points. This one's also at noon. What do you think about this one, Mac?
So, I don't like Texas. They have, they beat the dog shit out of Kansas last week. They lost to TCU. They were favored. They lost that game to Oak State. They barely squeaked out a game against Iowa State. Baylor was a hot team. I think getting Baylor at 8.5 is a steal because they got the brakes beat off of them by Kansas State the week after beating Oklahoma, where they were dogs. And then they covered against TCU. They should have won that game last week.
Yeah, they should have. That was a. I've never seen anything like that. I've really never have. For those of you who didn't see it, basically TCU didn't have any timeouts left, so when the clock was running out, the offense just ran off the field and the kicker ran on, and I don't even think he did the backwards L, and measured out his thing, but if he did, he rushed through it and just kicked it and won the game in dramatic fashion. It was awesome.
I think there's two ways to look at it. You look at it, Baylor's dejected after they left it all on the field and lost that game to the number 4 team in the country the week before. Or if you think they are a well-coached team, which I do, and that they will respond, you think that they're going to embrace being, they know the deal with Texas, and that Texas is the bigger school, the big dog in the state, and they're not. So I think you're going to see that team respond well, and both these teams are pretty even. You look at their stats, yards per game and defense, they're damn near identical, and 8.5 points against one of the most inconsistent teams in the country in Texas. I like Baylor plus 8.5. Long story short, because Baylor, as much as they have some bad losses. They lost to West Virginia, but that was.
But West Virginia also beat Oklahoma.
Correct. I think. And we know how the Big 12 is like that. That's not, if you've watched the Big 12 for the past 10 years, that would not surprise you.
No, that's the craziest division that's the craziest conference in football this year for sure.
So I'm rolling with Baylor.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think given 2 scores, that's insane. I don't think Texas is all that good. You pretty much nailed it with your take, but yeah, I'm gonna roll with you. I like Baylor plus 8.5. I think that's pretty easy pick. All right, moving right along, we have the number 24 NC State Wolfpack going to their arch rivals, the number 13 North Carolina Tar Heels. Tar Heels are giving 6.5, and the over under is 56. I'll go first this time. Uh, I really think that NC State has been dog water all year, and I don't know why. I don't know why they've been hovering around in the rankings. I think they've pretty much have sucked since they lost their quarterback versus FSU, and I don't think that's going to change this year, especially on the road in Chapel Hill. So I like North Carolina to bounce back from that horrifying defeat they had against last week against Georgia Tech, and I think they're going to handle business against their rivals. I think they overlooked Georgia Tech for this game. This is going to be a pretty big game for them. Uh, Drake May, he's been in the dark horse Heisman talk, especially now that Hooker's out. Uh, the Heisman is up for grabs right now. We can talk about that, but Drake May's been having a spectacular season in Chapel Hill, and I think that they're going to score a lot and probably dominate the Wolfpack. So,
Yeah, I like UNC minus 6.5. I don't think NC State can score. They still, I haven't seen their last few games, but they're 7-4. Somehow they're still ranked, and they've lost their last. Well, the rankings haven't came out. They're not going to be ranked by the time this game kicks off. But they've scored. They scored 10 points against Louisville. They lost to a god awful Boston College team. They somehow beat Wake Forest, but they have, since their quarterback's gotten hurt, they have the most points they put up is 21 points in a game. And I think UNC is going to be able to put way more than 30 points up. So I like them to cut. I could see this being like a 35 to or 34 to 20 game, somewhere around there. So I like UNC to cover.
all right, that moves us right along to noon on Saturday. We have the biggest matchup of the week. The number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes are hosting the number 3 Big Blue Michigan Wolverines. Ohio State giving, 7.5. The over under is 57. This is a big one. How do you like it?
7.5 is a lot of points.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And Michigan's no joke, but Ohio State's good.
I could see this game going either way. I could see Michigan getting their shit kicked in, and I could see Michigan keeping it close and winning this game. I don't think Michigan. That's the thing. I don't think Michigan's going to win this game by a lot if they were to win. And the only team I think that could do that is Ohio State. That could, and Ohio State's defense is much better than what it was last year. I'm kind of torn. I think Michigan can muck this game up and slow it down and make it ugly per se. But even if you do that, Ohio State has the ability to score anytime they touch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with mucking it up and taking your time. It's great.
Look, this is the best game. This is the best team that Ohio State's played this year, I would say, by far, right?
Yeah, and it's the best team that Michigan's played this year. So I think.
But Michigan's been in close games versus worse opponents.
Yeah, so I don't know. You're putting my brain in a pretzel. So you just said this is the best team Ohio State's played, but then you say Michigan has been in close games with worse teams.
I know.
So
I'm playing both sides here. This is the landscape you have to consider.
Michigan beat the dog shit out of Penn State. Penn State gave Ohio State more of a fight. Maryland played them close, but Maryland played Ohio State close. If you watch, that game was fucking close the whole way. Actually, Michigan hasn't had a close game until Illinois and Maryland.
And Illinois was,
Illinois is ranked. Was ranked.
Illinois is a wagon. It is true.
And Illinois, Ohio State hasn't played Illinois. So,
and I'll tell the visitors or the listeners, this is not on my pick sheet, or this is not on the list of games we're going to pick, but Illinois minus 14 versus Northwestern, I think they're going to hang half 100 on them. So that's a little free pick for you. A little free pick.
How the fuck is Iowa? Iowa's somehow going to win the fucking Big Ten West. So for some fucking way.
Well, nobody else wants to.
Holy fuck. That is the worst conference. That's the worst division in football.
Yep.
They have the East is one of the best divisions in football. And the West is arguably on the same level as the ACC Coastal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just means that the conference championship means nothing. You know, that's all it means. It's just got a waste of a game, really.
So, I kind of like the under in this, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm scared of the under because I know Ohio State can score so quick, and I know that's what's scaring me. I believe in Michigan. I just looked at the schedule. I believe in Michigan. I'm gonna go Michigan plus 7.5. I think how is this game not gonna be a 3-score or 3-point or a 1-point game? You know, that's what I'm looking at.
And me personally, I'm going to take the under. I mean, you're I don't know what you're hesitating about. I'll gladly take it. I don't like the point spread. I think Ohio State could blow them out if they get the chance. They will. You know, obviously, I mean that goes without saying, but you know what I mean. They can. You know, they have the ability to. If they have the chance to or not is another thing.
If we look at last year and this year, and the way that Harbaugh responded from the 2020 season when people were wanting him gone, and the way he's responded the past 2 years, you know, I know the toughness of the coach doesn't really, if Jim Harbaugh would beat the fuck out of Ryan Day if they were in a boxing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he played in the NFL. You know, he's an NFL athlete.
So I think it's going to be, I used to hate Jim Harbaugh.
You're a Michigan man.
I'm back on the Jim Harbaugh train.
Yeah. I want it to work for him. You know, he's the kind of guy that you want to see succeed. You know, he's a Michigan guy. Like, you know, he fits the mold. But like you said, it was tough sledding there for him for a little while. But they stuck with him for. I mean, how many years has he been there?
He's one of the guys that.
I'll tell you this much: if he did what he did at Michigan, at Florida, he would not be the coach. He wouldn't have had the chance to be a winner. We would have fired his ass long before that.
I think he's one of those guys that when it's working, it's cool. And he's cool. And whenever you're not winning,
it's corny.
It's real weird. Like it's like, this is weird now.
Why do you have cleats on, bro?
You know, like the scene in Step Brothers when he's Seth Rogen's the gym or the football coach, and he's interviewing him for the equipment manager, and he farts, and he's like, yeah, on second thought, the tuxedos were kind of fucking weird. That's Harbaugh. He's cool until he shits in your office, and then you're like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I'm on. You know, he hasn't shit in my office or farted in my interview yet. So I'm on Ohio. I'm on Michigan plus 7.5.
All right, I love it. All right, next one. I don't think this rivalry has a nickname, though it probably needs one. It might have one, but on ABC, this is another nooner. We have the South Carolina Gamecocks going to Death Valley Junior at Clemson. Clemson's ranked number 9. Clemson's giving 14.5, and the over/under is 52. The South Carolina Gamecocks are coming off what I would say is their best win in the history of the program. They upset the poor Tennessee Volunteers. And I mean, you hate to see it. They hung 60 on them. I think Spencer Rattler had 6 touchdowns when he had only like I think less than 20 on the year. So just one of the all-time flukes of that you've ever seen. And
He had 14, or he has 14 passing touchdowns on the season. So he came into the game with 8, and he
yeah,
threw
and then he had
6.
6. So insane. That was the week after Florida absolutely boat raced him. So I don't
Stuffed
know.
him in a locker.
It was bad. I mean, it was really like Florida fucked them up pretty seriously, and they fucking beat Tennessee. So I mean, that was crazy.
I
But
think
then Clemson, they beat Miami, but like a
Mhm.
drum. And I don't know
Yeah.
how who would win Miami versus South Carolina straight up. I don't know.
I think you are getting Clemson at a budget right now at 14 and a half.
You think there's a sale, huh?
Yeah, I think you're getting this is a Black Friday deal.
This is the Jim Cramer sell, buy.
I think you are getting, I think Clemson's going to win this game by 25 points.
Really?
I think Clemson's going to beat the absolute dog shit out of them. It's at Clemson, right? It is at
Mhm.
Clemson. Yeah, it's at Clemson. South Carolina is not a good football team. The that Tennessee defense isn't walking out on that field for Clemson. I'll tell you that right now. So Spencer Rattler he might throw 6 interceptions this week.
Yeah.
Clemson has a good defense. I don't know what people are fucking around about, but I think Clemson might let South Carolina score 2 touchdowns at most, and South Carolina does not have a good defense at all. One of the worst in the SEC. I think Clemson is going to be able to run it. They like to run the ball. They're going to run it down South Carolina's throat. I just think the style that Tennessee played didn't expose their weaknesses of their run defense being absolute trash. And Clemson's going to expose that. And Clemson's defense is good and Tennessee's wasn't. So don't get caught up that South Carolina beat Tennessee. I think you're getting Clemson. If last week South Carolina lost that game by 7 points, Clemson's a 18, 19, 20-point favorite.
Yeah. I mean, the kid on South Carolina had one of the best post game pressers where the reporter asked him, what did you guys change in the second half, and what was the advice from the coach? And he said, nothing. It's just drop your nuts. And I think that's exactly what Clemson's about to do into South Carolina's mouth is drop their fucking salty ass nuts. So I think the Cox are going to get beat again this week, and they're going to get a little brought back down to earth. So I like what you're saying. I think Clemson minus 14 and a half. It should probably be more like 17. So I'll take the Tigers. So I like what you said there. Let's see.
3:30.
Yep, the 3:30 slate. We are skipping the Iron Bowl in the interest of time. I think you all can figure out that Bama is going to beat the tar out of them.
I will say this. Well, this is the only thing I'll say about the Iron Bowl. It will sprinkle, like if you have extra $5-10 laying around that you saved on your Black Friday deal, maybe put like $10 on Auburn money line, just for old shits and gigs.
Yeah, see, maybe Cadillac Williams can. I wonder what Caddy's record was against Alabama. I'll put it up here. But wasting no more time, we are going out to Corvallis, Oregon for the Civil War. The number 12 Oregon Ducks are giving 3 points to the number 23 Oregon State Beavers. The over-under is 58. Bo Nix. Yeah, I mean, he's one having when we talk about turnarounds, we talked earlier about Harbaugh turning around his stint at Michigan, but Bo Nix is flourishing out there in Eugene. But I will say that Road Bo sucks compared to Home Bo, and this is a rivalry game on the road. So, how do you like this one? I mean, what do you think?
You got talking about the
Road
Bow, and I thought Road Bow he beat that myth this year. I thought he
Well, he got clapped by Georgia.
not
Almost
road,
lost to Washington State out there in Hickville.
but he threw for 428, so that can't be a road bow.
Well, if you watch the end, it was pretty insane. I don't know if you recall, but there was like some crazy turnover action.
He's worse at home than he is on the road this year.
He didn't lose him. He didn't lose at home, did he? Oh no, they lost to Washington, right?
Yeah, they were.
Washington beat him though. Washington beat him, and despite their efforts to cheat their way into a win. But yeah, I think that
412 at Cal, 428 at Wazoo, 274 at Colorado. That's what his passing yardage.
whatever that doesn't mean nothing.
I think, man,
He's going to handle business.
I think Bo Nix. Caleb Williams is the Pac-12 front runner, for the Heisman. But
Yeah,
if Bo Nix wins this game, and then has the stage set for Oregon USC, and he can have a career game at that one, and CJ Stroud Ohio State, they lose to Michigan this week. I think Bo Nix could win the fucking Heisman.
I have no clue who's going to win. This is the most wide open Heisman
It's either
race.
going to be CJ. So here's how it's if it's CJ Stroud or Caleb Williams right now. Those two guys. If CJ Stroud, if they lose to Michigan, or if they beat Michigan, he's probably going to win it because they're going to, they're going to let him throw for 300 against Iowa in the Big Ten championship and pad his stats, and he'll be on the 13-0 team and the passing leader for that team and everything else. He'll win. If they lose to Michigan, Michigan doesn't have a Heisman guy. They lose that. That's the biggest game, biggest time. Let's say he lays a dud, goes 150, one passing touchdown, 3 picks or some shit like that. Then Caleb Williams, he could ball out against Notre Dame this weekend and almost be a shoe-in for it. But then earlier in the day, Bo Nix, threw for 400 and ran for 100 and threw for 4 scores and ran for 2 in ranked matchup rivalry game, setting the stage for now, the game against USC. And then let's say that's a shootout, and Bo Nix has that same day and they win the Pac-12. Bo Nix might be your fucking Heisman if that happens. And I think because recency, these last 2 weeks are the biggest 2 weeks for the Heisman race. I think Bo Nix is going to have a Heisman moment. Oregon -3. I think they might win in some dramatic fashion, but some a lot of points, like Oregon -3.
I like what you said about the points. That's about all I like you said. I don't think Bo Heisman is going to happen. I just refuse. I mean, in my mind, I still remember texts that I've sent this season that I'm like, Bo Nix is the most hilarious football player because he's so fucking horrible at it. Yet, he keeps trying. But I digress. I think the over is the play, 58. It seems kind of low. I think it could be 64, and I wouldn't bat an eyelash at taking it then. So yeah, I like the over of 58. The Civil War is always a fun one. I think that Oregon State's been kind of. What's their record? Do you have it handy?
They're 8-3.
Yeah, so they've been quietly 8-3. I don't think they've beat anybody that they're not supposed to beat. But Oregon is probably the better team. But I'm not picking the point spread. I'm just going to stick with the over. Moving on. At 4 p.m., we have Iowa State at number 4 TCU. TCU is giving 10, and the over-under is 47.5. Now, the reason I picked this game, it's not a rivalry game, and it's not a particularly close one, but TCU has won, I think, their last 7 or 8 games by less than 10 points. And the last ones to do that were Colgate back before I was born. So
we all remember that Colgate team,
right? Yeah, they were studly. But I think that I'm on record as saying that I hate Matt Campbell and I think he's a giant pussy and a lot of negative things about that Iowa State squad. And TCU, I have been wrong on all year until I hopped in their hole last week and they fucked me. Um, so based on that, I'm saying fuck you, Hypno Toad. I think that you're gonna get beat by cuck ass Matt Campbell. I kind of would sprinkle a little money line in this game, but I'm gonna take the Cyclones on a wing and a prayer that I'm finally right about them.
And that is, I was not going to do this, but because you have been so wrong so many times this year on TCU, I'm going to take TCU -10. I wasn't going to pick this game. I was going to actually pick the under in this game. I think defenses are good. I'm not going to pick the under. I'm going to pick TCU -10, 8-2-1 against the spread this season.
See, this is a spite fade though. This is one I should be taking personally, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to let you get to me like that.
It's not a spite fade. I've been on TCU's train all year, so you
can't, and now it's clouding your judgment. You licked the toad.
Feeling horny.
Getting horned up. All right. All right, let's move on. Hard fries. I don't know that I think some teams. I think I'm a fan
They are a team of destiny. They are a team of destiny.
Well, I refuse. I think they drop this one and then they disappear into the long good night. We're on to the 7:30 slate. We have number 18 Notre Dame going to number 7 USC in the Coliseum. The Trojans are giving 5.5, and the over under is 64.5. This is kind of a perplexing one. We have Lincoln Riley, and we mentioned him a little bit, but Caleb Williams out there. They're still in their first year, and Marcus, what's his name?
Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman is still in his first year as well. It's a classic rivalry game. I don't know if they're wearing green or not. That would be worth knowing. How do you like this one? Do you know much about either of these teams?
I do like USC, but I'm not going to pick them because, I just don't. I like the over in this game. I like over
64.5.
Yeah, I just think both teams are going to be able to score some points. USC's defense is average at best, but their offense is really good. So I think Notre Dame's going to be able to score some points with them.
I kind of like, I don't know. The way that this season's been going, it's just been so chaotic. So I could see what is USC? They're 9-1 now. I could see 9-1 USC overlooking this game, or maybe not taking. Well, no, they're not gonna do that. But I could see the chaos factor happening. I mean, especially after last week, I got fucking killed last week because the games were so crazy. Nobody did what they were supposed to do, but I think Notre Dame could win it, but I also think that USC just has a ton to play for. So I don't know. I kind of like the under, honestly. I don't think that this is going to be as high scoring as USC's other games. So I'm going to fade you. Don't take it personal, but I'm going the other way with it.
Okay.
Let's see.
That hole's a little dry, but cool.
Don't worry, I'll probably come in it before time's up. Let's move on. We have another Big 12 matchup at 8 p.m. We have Kansas at Kansas State. Kansas State is giving it 12 points here, and the over-under is 62.5. What do you think about this one? I don't know what this rivalry is called either, but it's...
Have I picked a dog yet? I don't think I think I've been picking every favorite.
Let me see.
No, I got Michigan. Okay, I got Michigan.
And Baylor.
Baylor's a dog. Okay. All right. As long as I have a couple dogs, because I thought I was taking all the favorites. I like K-State to cover this one relatively easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think that Kansas, I mean, one of the all-time hype trains. I was a little late on them this year, sadly, but I think that show is over. So I think Kansas State's pretty good. I think they're going to probably beat the fuck out of them, especially since it's in Manhattan. So go Wildcats. All right.
Okay.
Last game of the slate. This is a 10:30 game, and by no means are we picking all the games. We're just kind of trying to hit the bases. But this is number 17, Washington. They're giving 2 on the road to Washington State. The over/under is 61. This is a Huskies podcast. How do you think the Apple Cup is going this year? Is it Apple Cup or Apple Bowl?
I think it's the Apple Cup.
Yeah, how do you think that's going to go? What's your favorite type of apple?
I'm not a big apple sauced. That's my favorite apple.
Really, applesauce. Okay, I'm a Granny Smith guy myself. I know it gets a lot of
Actually,
hate.
I'm sorry. My favorite apple is apple crisp. Have you ever had apple crisp?
Oh yeah, they're delicious.
Yeah, that's the cake thing. It's better than an apple pie. It's like a crumble. So that with a scoop of ice cream on it.
A la mode.
That's the move. I'm not a big raw apple guy. I'm more of a cooked, battered with
I like it with dip it in a little
like the goo,
peanut butter.
Peanut butter. I'm a banana and peanut butter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that too.
Banana and peanut butter. That's the way to go. And apples all right. Apple and peanut butter, but apples are kind of overrated if we're being honest.
What about apple pie?
That's what I'm saying.
Are you having apple pie at Thanksgiving this week, or are you not apple pie family?
Our family, no, we don't really do apple pie that much. We do apple crisp, like I said, but that's usually we do apple crisp, and a lot of pecan pie. I actually make that pumpkin pie.
I was watching Bon Appetit, and they said that pecan pie kind of sucks, except for the pecans on top. So they just put the pecans on top of a pumpkin pie. I thought that was kind of genius.
So you're agreeing that with them that pecan pie sucks, or pecan pie?
Well, the filling.
You're tricking me into saying pecan. It's a pecan.
I say the filling is not that great. It's just kind of sweet. It's kind of sweet and mapley. But if you put a little maple brown sugar into the the pumpkin, then you're getting it all. I like the crunch though.
Maple. It's not even maple syrup, dude. You got to use Caro dark corn syrup.
All right.
I don't know. I'm offended because I'm the one that makes it now. Like I took over that duty from my pawpaw, and my family loves my pecan
Thank you
pie.
for your service. Why don't you try it with maple? You make one with maple and just test it out. You're gonna make several, aren't you?
Yeah, making 4.
Yeah, have an experiment pie.
This isn't the time of year to experiment.
Well, just have one. You get 4 shots at it. You could even make a 5th one with a little maple syrup in there.
So you're saying you need to go get some log cabin and just squirt that bitch in there and throw it in the oven?
What do you mean? No, instead of the Caro, you just use the maple syrup. It's just sweet.
Log cabin or Aunt Jemima.
No, get the good shit, dude. Get the good shit.
Sorry about that.
Let's move on. What's the
Yeah. So apples suck. Apples are overrated.
This is an Android guy you're talking to.
I could name 4 better fruits right off the whip right here.
Do it.
4 better fruits. Orange. Orange and tangerine. They can be together. Orange and tangerine. That's one. I'll even say those are just one. Citrus.
Sure. Yeah.
Blueberries. Way better. Blackberries. Way better.
I don't know. Blackberry is better than Blackberries. Blackberries is part of a berry medley, but not by themselves. I think.
All right. Banana.
Yeah. Pineapple.
I would pineapple way better.
Pineapple slaps.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Um,
It's not really Thanksgiving.
But I will say this. I believe apple is overrated, as is strawberries are overrated, because strawberries and apples and blueberries, I'll throw blueberries in this category, are all fruits that are better when they're in something rather than by themselves. They're
Well, mom makes her famous cobbler, which is strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and I think raspberries. And
but that's what I'm saying. Like all those, those berry, stuff like that. When the fruit is better when it's cooked and in something, it's not a top tier fruit. Like pineapple,
like an artichoke, can't be your top favorite vegetable.
Pineapple's a top tier fruit. Is like pineapple's up there. Banana, or not on a fucking hot ass day, and you find yourself in an orange grove. You just rip off an orange and start peeling that.
When do you find yourself in a fucking orange?
I'm talking about when you're a kid, dude. You don't remember you're a kid just running around and there's an orange grove around.
Trespassing.
Yeah. And you're like, man, it's hot and those oranges look so fucking good. And you go over there and rip one of those bitches off.
The Tangelo is the best citrus in my mind, though.
Or loquat. You know the fucking loquats?
I don't know if that's not like a kumquat, is it? Kumquats are nasty.
Yeah, it's loquats are way better. They're like it's almost like a peach.
Who do you like in the apple cup?
A peach.
Who do you like in the apple cup, bro?
I like Mike Penix and Washington to win -2. We're doing it for our boy Lando out in Tacoma, wherever he's at, Washington.
Some shit.
Tacoma's a sick ass name for a town, though.
It's a truck name. Yeah.
And Mike Penix is from our hometown, so we're gonna root for the hometown kid.
Yeah, Rob with the mob. I love it. I think you're absolutely right. This is kind of an easy one. Last year, wait, is this in?
It's in
Wazoo. So last year, Wazoo came to Seattle and they did pups down, which is fucked. And I think Penix is going to take revenge. He's going to throw for half 1,000 yards on them. I think it's going to be quick work. So yeah, go fucking Huskies. And with that, do you have any locks or anything else you want to say? Any final remarks?
I don't think I have a lock.
Anything you feel particularly strongly about?
I think Tulane, Cincinnati over 46.5. My first pick I gave. I'm pretty confident in that over. That's low. I think it's a hit. Nothing else. I'm not like super unconfident in a lot of picks, but I'm not like there's not a lot.
Yeah, there's not like a big easy one.
No. Yeah, there's not like one I'm like, this is the easiest pick of the year. Like I usually say,
game of the year.
Six times. So
all right. Well, with that's gonna be probably our final booty picks of the year. We're thinking about having maybe a bowl extravaganza. More with that later. But for now, that's gonna be it for this week for booty picks. I wish you all well. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you watch a ton of football and stuff your fat fucking faces like we do. Yeah, work 'em silly. Woo! Booty picks. Woo! I don't know. Something like that.